Hello. How's it going, everybody? Um, Good morning. Good morning, Laura. I've been seeing your comments come in, and then I was mad dash to Pit Dark and trying to figure out what was happening and how I can become involved. You've been up since just before 5. Laura, is it 6 for you right now or 5 for you? If it's all the people who it's 5 for, just kudos to you. Um, yeah, okay. So, from my understanding, from my quick Googling, Pit Dark, it's like one of those original, like Twitter X, whatever, like pitching events where you can do a little tweet. Um, or whatever they're calling it. I don't know. I've never been on Twitter. Maybe I should. I don't know. But reading a middle grade horror in the meantime, because the event doesn't start, so you're kind of pre gaming for the event. That's exciting. I gotta like start researching all of the pitching events. Oh, hi. Sorry. This is live sprinting. That's what's happening. We're just chatting to start off. So let me know what you're working on this morning. But Laura, you're feeling ready for the trenches? That's exciting. I'm glad. That's good. That's a good feeling to go into querying with. Um, and then having a new, yes, I highly recommend having a new project to jump into once you start querying. Um, I love this description of it already. It has long black hair with many eyes peeking through. It was never human. It's so good. And Sherry is pitching this morning too. I gotta get on the pitching game. I gotta get my game on. Guess what I'm doing during sprints now? No, I'm gonna write. I'm gonna write. You hear me? Okay. I I am so interested in this. Okay. And you ordered an author copy to celebrate querying it. I love this. That's what I will be doing from now on as well. Um, Now you'll be able to see the differences between the final draft and the finalized traditional draft. Absolutely. Yeah. That's what I like about it too. It's like a first edition sort of a thing. Like a zero edition, you know. Um Awesome, awesome. Good morning, Jesse. It's 7 a.m. for you. Oh, so you've been up for a while, Laura, just waiting, biding your time until the event starts. Um And Pit Dark is a Twitter pitch event. Yep, for horror and dark books. And I was just looking at the rules like 7 seconds before this started. And I don't know if my book is really dark enough. I mean, people get murdered, I guess. So that it's probably dark generally. Yeah, yeah. Okay, have people been doing the only other place I've heard of pitch events happening other than Twitter is like Discord or Threads. Are people on Threads? Did that die out after a month or is it still active? I was never on there. I just don't know how to write in that form. But and on May 30th, you'll be Laura will be participating in Kidlit Pit. This is so exciting. Laura, you're all over the place. You're jumping in. I love it. All over the place in the best way, which means you're getting into all the things, which is so good. So, and Laura, you are on Threads. All kind of mystery and thriller is fine. Okay, well, I don't even know if I have a one sentence pitch or a Twitter account. So, this might be a chaotic morning for me. No, I'm not going to do it on the stream. Do you hear me? I'm going to write this morning and maybe look a little. Okay. Yeah, here I am on social media. I am still awful at it. You might have noticed my abysmal TikTok, which you can follow if you would like. I'm trying to post over there. I hate it so much and I never want to do it again, but what are you gonna do? Good morning, beans, beans, beans. Literally just woke up. I feel that. I try to get up a little earlier on these days, but it still feels like I just rolled out of bed. And then, so Pit Dark, for anybody else interested, which is for mysteries, thrillers, anything where you're not happy during the book. well, like, I guess your characters aren't happy. You're probably happy. It goes from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if anybody else wants to join, I'll have to find you all on Twitter and become friends. Maybe this will be fun or stressful. Oftentimes both. Um, and you, this is my life. This is the definition of how my TikTok goes. I did TikTok for my drawing side. It lasted a week. Okay, I was working on this video, you guys. I was like, I'm gonna post on TikTok every day for 30 days and see how it impacts all of my social media followings. And then I did it for like if you were paying it. I also posted it on YouTube. So you might notice like a couple months ago, like 5 days in a row, there was a TikTok for me. And then there was never one again because I could not do it. But one day I will try. I can't wrap my brain around Discord. I tried. Threads is still kicking, but I found it really full of polarizing talk. Yeah, that's how I feel about like Twitter too, which I'm like, I love having discourse. I don't know if that kind of medium is the the length that I prefer to see discourse happen in. If you know, like I think I much prefer to see discourse in like a YouTube video where there's time, or like a podcast where there's time to give nuance and context to things, rather than just like, I'm spitting fire in this one message and then I'm going to send it out into the world and everybody can disagree. And it just feels like we're just arguing. Anyway, jumping right into all the controversial I mean, I guess that's not controversial unless it is. I don't know. And Discord, also difficult for me. I've only ever tried to do Discord like one time. And I also just can't. It's just like so much going on Discord. The only time I've ever really used Discord was like to try to join like a critique partner matchup thing, which I'm always horrible at those. Anyway, I also use YouTube the most. I don't use Discord, but I have been thinking about just like checking out what's over there. I know a lot of people have Discords where there's like resources and good chatting going on, so I don't know, something to consider. I feel like I see a lot of Patreons using Discord to like host things. I don't know. I also don't know very much about Patreon. I don't think I've ever. Maybe I should like join people's Patreons. I don't know, you guys. I'm not very good at the social media. I just record myself writing and then hope that people watch it. That's my current plan. Anyway, let us know what you're working on. Oh no, there's something in my eye. That's not good. And I know that the glasses might be a little distracting, but my eyes are bleeding if I don't wear them. So, okay, I've heard really good things about the Troublemakers and their Discord, so I might have to check that out. They do a lot of like streams, if I'm remembering correctly, right? And like other writing sort of community stuff. Yeah, okay, so what am I working on? I have an ambitious goal for this morning. I am trying to get through a whole chapter. I'm about 200 pages. Yep, starting off strong. 200 words into this chapter, and it's about half the size of all the other chapters. So I'm like, maybe I could do the whole thing this morning. It's a very bold and ambitious goal that I have. So that is my current plan. So I might go an extra sprint to get that done because I really would like to I need a little bit of a dopamine hit with this project, I'm going to be honest. Every once in a while I get to this point where I'm cruising, I'm writing 500 words a day, I'm making a little bit of progress. Sometimes I just need to finish a chapter in a day to feel like I'm successful in my life. So that's what my goal is for today. Good morning, Danielle. Working on the short story this morning. That's awesome. Thank you for your support during this time. You're going to work on your outline and then maybe some character stuff. That's so fun. I wish I was outlining. I think I'm going to be outlining whenever I finish this darn book. So hopefully June. There's no way this book is going to be done by June. I'm not even at the midpoint. Maybe if I go like super zero in worker woman for a couple days. Um, trying your hand at dictating some tough scenes. Good luck with the dictation. I was just thinking about when I get to a drafting stage and I'm streaming, like what that's gonna look like for you guys when I'm dictating on like yeah, so look forward to that whenever I get back to drafting. I think it's time we start a sprint. I know we've been chatting for so much time, which is so fun. I love to see it. Okay. Now I'm going to become a boomer for a second as I figure out how to share a screen. Meg is working on final edits of the next book with two different grant proposals that need to be completed separately, that need completely separate proposed books. I have three books floating around in my head. I love it. Okay, we're going to get started with this, but I am curious about the grant proposals. So, let me So tell me more about that when we come back. You can type it now and I can read it later, or you can wait. I'm so interested in the grant proposal situation. Is that for something else or for the books? So if you're willing to share, Meg, if not, totally fine. Just ignore me. So let's get cooking with a sprint. We're gonna do 25 minutes as per always. Maybe one day we'll do a longer sprint. Today is not the day. So get your document out, get your mind ready for writing, and let's begin. All right, that brings us to the end of that sprint. Got so into it, I forgot to check the timer. So that's exciting. I did. I don't know what my word count is. I like 600 or okay, 700. My okay, that's good. But I got about halfway through the scene, so that's good. Maybe I can get through the second half. Here's hoping. All right, Meg gave us an answer. Okay, so you're traditionally published, and this next book is your fifth book. This is so cool. I don't know how it works in other countries, but in Ireland, we have the Arts Council that provides grants to writers to work on books. Okay, this is what I was curious about because I'd heard about someone getting an arts grant or something like that in like Canada as well, or applying for something like that. So that's so cool. So your next book is your fifth book. That's so cool. I'll have to check you out and see what it's all about. And you have to propose a book that you want to write, and then they decide who gets the grants based on the track record and potential. And I'm applying for two different grants right now, so two different books. That is so interesting. So is that in, if you don't mind me asking, is that in addition to like royalties and agent and like the publisher payment? Is it separate than that, or is that what you get instead? Meg, if you don't mind, if you're still here, I don't know. Um, but this is so exciting. You're working on these proposals, and it has to be good enough to warrant being awarded a grant. So no pressure at all on writing that proposal, right? It's easy. Okay, but no, it's super competitive and stressful. I gotta like read them all before I start commenting. And you're in final edits for book 5 at the same time. So very grateful for my sprints. Well, thanks. I am very grateful for my sprints and all of you being here to hold me accountable because I would not have written that chapter if I hadn't had these sprints. So good morning, Ashlyn. First time chatting and catching one of these lives. Excited to be here. Well, we're excited to have you. Thanks for joining. What are you working on this morning? Oh, you already said it. I see it coming up, so I'll get there in a minute. Laura is trying to figure out where the story takes place. This is what I love about brainstorming a new project. Is like it could be anywhere, could be anything. So, Ashlyn is working on writing a dark fantasy romance. Originally was aiming for it to be 50K, and now just at the midpoint, and it's already 50K. I have been there, and you got this. You got this. It just keeps getting longer and longer. Yep, that's my first drafts always end up being like 90,000 to 100,000 words, and then like the final draft ends up being like 65 to 85. So you got this. Long drafters unite, right? Good morning, Krenko. Thanks for joining us. Oh my gosh, I just love the brainstorming. American Gothic, Deep South. Oh my gosh, there's so many good options, Laura. I have no idea. You should like look up a photo of each of these places and see like what the vibes are for each. I don't know. This is so fun. Yeah, and it does these all sound like great locations for a horror novel. And oh, that's a good idea to like decide what horror element you're using and then see which scene kind of or scenery is the word I'm looking for, kind of embodies that. I'm using my hands instead of words, so that's always a good sign. Sherry is finding outlining the hardest part because there are so many directions you can go. Yes, it's funny. I was shamelessly watching my own video the other day, but I was watching the videos where I was outlining gas station just because I was trying to remember like was it easy to outline this book? Like what was my thought process? And just like the amount of options that you have when outlining, that's always so stressful to me too, but also so exciting. Yeah. So Laura's already decided that the main character is a girl whose family moves back to a small town her ancestors escaped from a few generations back, and her grandma told stories of it. But her parents feel the pull and move the family for there. Okay, that's so fun. I'm so excited. And I do love all the South stuff as well. I'm agreeing with Jesse here. I feel like it's a similar vibe. But Okay, and then going back to grants and proposals, Meg is telling us that it's completely separate. So you get an advance from your publisher and then royalties from them, and then grants have nothing to do with them. You apply separately. Okay, I love that. US, can we get a little bit of that? Maybe there is, and I just haven't looked into it because I haven't looked into anything apparently. um, but that's so cool. I wish you the best. That's so awesome. Beans says, I get that. I'm such an overwriter, which isn't great because I write middle grade. Yeah. And I mean middle grade is much shorter than adult thriller, but I still like adult thrillers. I like them to be I'm aiming for even shorter word count. Like my first one I queried was like 85,000 and the wedding season is 75,000 and I want it to be like almost a little bit shorter cuz I love a thriller that's like under 300 pages. I think a lot of people do too just for pacing sakes. So I'm like, but it's nothing compared to like if you're writing middle grade or honestly like YA fantasy and you start with this draft that's like 170,000 words. Ah, I could not even imagine. I could not. Okay, so you scheduled 4 pitch dark pitches so far. Twitter rule says they all have to be a little different. So you're tweaking and changing comps. I will so be looking into this morning. Not during the next sprint. I'm finishing my chapter first, and then I can look at it. Maybe I'll just watch today and kind of see what the vibes are. Oh, and so I think Laura, you're kind of the opposite. So you had to stretch your middle grade from 19,000 to 34,000. It's so interesting to me how different people like do it, you know? I kind of wish I was an underwriter, but it will never be me. It will never be me. Yes, go get those donuts before work. Absolutely. Got a character sheet done? Excellent work. Thank you for joining us. Go eat a donut for all of us. I love that. Ashlyn says, luckily, 100,000 words isn't unusual for the genre I'm writing, but definitely taking longer. That's the thing about it. It's like, it's one thing for it to be long. It's another thing that it just takes so long. And then it takes so long on the edit, too. That's what I'm finding right now. Because my draft total, I think, was originally like 97,000 words or something. And so it's just taking a long time to get through it because there's a lot there. And then you're aiming to self-publish this one and then hoping to query agents for a lit fic that's taken about 4 years to write. That's so exciting. I love the idea of being a hybrid author. It's definitely something I'm thinking about too, because like different projects just work for different types of publishing. So that's super cool. Awesome. Well, let's get into another sprint so we don't lose our momentum. Um, let's see here. I know that I'm way too big in that one. You don't really want to see all that much of me. Okay. All right. So before we do that, stretch out your wrists. Do a little circle. Ow. Okay. I had a small bike accident a few weeks ago. My wrist is still recovering emotionally and physically. But roll out your neck. Take a big sip of water. Everybody wish Laura luck as her pitch goes out in 15 minutes. So it'll go out during the sprint. So excited for you. I love it. All right. Let's get writing. All right. That brings us to the end of that sprint, too. I need to just keep talking. Okay, one second. Well, I did finish my chapter, which is actually kind of a miracle. That was, it was kind of I don't know. The total scene ended up being like 1,400 words, which is a little low, but not anything. Like it's just a shorter chapter, but not very much happens in it. I think it might end up being one of those scenes that gets split into two. Like it's like the information and it kind of gets transferred around, but I think it's good for now. It's just kind of an establishing scene, but the next scene gets us into the midpoint, so that's good. The next chapter. But yeah, so finished it, ended around, yeah, like I was saying, like 1,500 words for this little shindig, the sprints. But again, I'm transcribing it from dictation, so it's a little bit easier. It's not fresh words or anything. Um, how did the sprint go for everybody? Did you get a lot done? Laura, how is your pitch going? How did it? Any technical difficulties or anything like that? Um, yeah. Sherry is also an underwriter. Always have to add a lot of interiority into my later drafts. And the first drafts are just plot. See, it's funny. Even though I write like I overwrite, there's some scenes where I really don't have any interiority. Um, like the character's not even thinking. Actually, this scene I was writing, the second half of it really became just like dialogue, and they just like weren't thinking. So I had to add a little bit of that in too. Um, Danielle sprint that sprint getting to the end of editing this short story, sending it off to critique partners today. That's awesome, Danielle. Congratulations on finishing the editing. That's always such a good feeling. So that's so exciting that you're sending it to CPs. That's so cool. Kranka was able to transfer a bit of handwritten notes into a doc. Oh, that's right. You handwrite, don't you? That's so cool. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm excited I was able to finish that chapter. I said that with a lot of confidence at the beginning of this stream, so maybe I just need to start doing that. Ashlyn says, that's very interesting. I'm the opposite. I have so much internal thinking that with the characters that I have to make a point to show and not tell. This was something, it really depends on the scene for me and what mood I'm in while I'm writing. Because if I'm in a mood where I just need to get through the scene, I'll just go dialogue all the way through. But other times I will just get like wrapped up in the moment and all the things that they're thinking about. And often what revision is for me, I mean, obviously it's like fixing any plot holes, but besides that, it's like making sure there's a good mix of like interior, exterior, action. Oh, oh wow, okay. Yep. Internal thought, action, a good balance of that. And then it really varies scene to scene based on how I was feeling when I was writing it. So, beans, beans, beans. Congrats, Laura. This sprint went well for me. I love dictating whenever I get stuck. It helps me get the skeleton of the scene, and now I go back to polish it. Yes, I feel the same way. It's like I think when you're talking or dictating, it's I think the reason it helps me is because when I'm focused on what's the next word of the sentence I'm going to say, I'm not thinking so much about, I'm not like so hypercritical of what's happening in the scene, and it forces me to just get through it, you know? Um, and sometimes you can say things without having to like process it so much and like think through it so much. So it's really good for that, but also does require a lot more editing. um, And you do handwrite, yes. Yeah, that's awesome. You've been retweeted twice so far. That's awesome. It's only been like 10 minutes. So, oh, that's so good. And okay, I'm pretty sure that in these events, it's like if you get a like from an agent, then that's like a request, right? For like a query or something. But the retweeting is just like supporting other people. That's awesome. Beans says I'm getting better at internal stuff, but most of my world's built up because I love dialogue and setting description. That's so fun. I have a friend who writes like that too. Um, but yeah, that's so cool. Hello, Sylvia. Writing in Colorado, so it's only 6 a.m. here. Well, we're wrapping up, but you might just want to go back to the beginning of the stream to get your writing in. Um, but yeah, that's early. Yep. Oh my gosh, and Beans is in Colorado too. I love it. Sherry wrote more pitches and made coffee. Now it's all about retweeting, boosting other pitches, and hoping everyone will boost yours. With thousands of pitches out there, it's really hard to get visibility. Yeah, I'm gonna like just stalk on Twitter today, I think. I don't know if I'm gonna pitch. I'll just kind of see what the vibes are because I have a one sentence pitch. It's not great, so I might just kind of see what's going on, maybe retweet some people. I'll try to find you guys on there and maybe make an account. That will be my first step. Um, but yeah, I wish you guys the best to get the best visibility, maybe a couple likes. Yes, okay. This is what I thought. So an agent like is a request for you to query them. That's so cool. Um, I'm happy to see that pitch events are coming back. They've probably been back for a while. I just remember for a while there, it was like they were happening in different places and they just like weren't happening as often anymore. But I think like it's an indicator to me that things are kind of opening up in the publishing world. Like I feel like there was a while there where like people weren't even getting query replies at all. And now I think I've seen a little bit more movement, a little bit more requesting happening on Query Tracker, a little bit more people getting agents. So that's exciting to see. Um, but yeah, so if anybody else wants to share how their sprints went, if you're watching in the replay, let us know what you're working on, how much you got done, what your thoughts are on all of our ramblings. 4 retweets. Laura, they're just coming by the second. By the time we end the stream, it'll be at like 25. That's so awesome. That's so awesome. But yeah, I think that's where I'm going to leave you guys for today. Thank you so much for writing with me, helping me actually sit my batootie in the chair and write my darn book. So, yes, I wish everybody who's pitching today good luck. If you're querying, stay strong out there, everybody. Um, and I will see you for sure sometime later. Definitely doing more live streams next week, maybe even more than just Tuesday and Thursday. I don't know. I'm feeling ambitious. So we'll see how that translates after the weekend. So, all right. Have a good day, guys. Bye.